Okay. All right, welcome to the May 2nd, 2020 special meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The record will reflect that all members of council are present.
All right, since I didn't ask anyone, I'll handle invocation, and then Mr. Muldoon, why don't you handle pledge for us, please? Please stand. Lord, we ask that you watch over this body, that you give us guidance, that you keep our families safe, that you keep our residents safe, that you keep those who are watching safe, and we ask that you watch over those people who are sick. Please place your hand over them and help heal them. We ask that you watch over those people the family members of those who we have lost in our community. Provide them comfort. We ask you watch over those people who are hurting economically, mentally, physically right now, that you provide comfort and guidance to them. We ask you give us wisdom as we move forward today, and in these things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Please face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So before we go into public comments, I think it's probably worth making sure we educate the public just a little bit on some of the litigation that's been happening and Newport Beach's involvement in it, so that when we have the public comments, they can make sure they're focused in on some of the information, because a lot of it actually was happening as of yesterday. So anyway, Mr. Harper, are you prepared to at least talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Neal. Let me give you a quick summary of where we're at currently. So yesterday, the City of Huntington Beach, the City of Dana Point, the Balboa Bay Club, Pacific City Investments, and Lido House LLC filed a lawsuit against Governor Newsom, and they were seeking a temporary and permanent injunction, in essence, to open back up the beaches and stop enforcement of the order that was issued. The matter was assigned to the Honorable Judge Nathan Scott here in Orange County Superior Court, so this is filed in state court. And the cause of action alleged by the cities and business plaintiffs was for violation of the California Constitution, in essence arguing that control of the beaches is a municipal affair and that's not a matter of statewide concern, that the governor is unduly infringing upon the city's rights. And the second primary argument was that the governor has exceeded the powers that have been given to him under the state emergency plan, as well as the government code. The City of Newport Beach filed an amicus brief in support of Huntington Beach and Dana Point. The judge heard oral argument regarding an ex parte application for a temporary restraining order yesterday at 2:30 p.m. And after extensive oral argument on it, the matter was continued to a hearing on May 11th, and the judge indicated he'd like the parties to try to work things out and settle things. The only other item I have is I believe the City of San Clemente had a closed session yesterday, and they voted not to join the litigation.
Aaron, could you, since the vast majority of people here are not lawyers that are watching, would you mind explaining what an amicus brief is and how Newport Beach's brief was cited yesterday during the hearing?
So an amicus brief is also called a friend of the court brief. In essence, what we did is explain some of the legal issues that we thought were important to the City of Newport Beach to the judge. It kind of helped weigh in on the issues. So we addressed the municipal affairs and sovereign issues related to the city and the control of the beaches. We also discussed whether or not the governor had the power to issue the order that was issued under the government code and the state emergency plan. And then we submitted several declarations I think that were useful to help guide the court. One was a declaration from the police chief, which laid out his plan for controlling the emergency and making sure social distancing is maintained. There was a declaration from the fire chief as well that explained the actions that they've taken in order to help deal with this emergency and make sure social distancing is maintained. And then we had a large discussion about how much outdoor space is taken away from the residents of Newport Beach, in essence, taking kind of away their backyard by closing the beaches, and how those members are sort of forced to go to other communities potentially in order to enjoy the outdoors as opposed to enjoying the outdoors in their own neighborhood. And then explained all the other actions that we've taken since the emergency began to show that we're acting in a responsible manner. So that sort of outlines kind of the arguments that we made, but it's primarily there to help the court understand some of the issues and give them a little bit of a different insight. We also shared the police chief's photographs that he took that showed social distancing on the beach. And we explained that we thought the Orange County Register photo that was used didn't accurately reflect things.
And so the result yesterday was that the judge denied the temporary restraining order, and so the governor's order or directive stays in place at least until the hearing on May 11th?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure the public understood that because there was a lot happening yesterday.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, in view of all this, I move to adjourn.
Adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion.
Mr. Harp, is that a debatable motion?
So a motion to adjourn the meeting is a non-debatable motion. It does require a second, and it requires a majority vote.
So in other words, we need to take a vote right now on whether to adjourn? Because I don't believe public comment is right. So this is a vote to end the meeting right now?
Yeah, and technically, the public has a right to comment on the agenda items, but we never got to the agenda item, so you don't need to take public comment. But you'd have to take a vote on the motion to adjourn.
Okay, let's take a vote.
With council members Dixon, Duffield, Muldoon, and Mayor O'Neill voting no, the motion fails.
Okay. All right, we'll go into public comment now. And in light of the extensive public comment we've received in the past, we'll go to 2 minutes on public comment. What should be the outer limit on this, Mr. Harp, if we need to have one?
I think the issues here are very similar to the issues you've had on the beach closures, maybe 30, 45 minutes total.
Which one?
I think 30 minutes is fine.
Okay, we'll go 30 minutes. All right, we'll go to the community room first.
Jim Mosier. I was pleased to see the motion because I am sad to observe that this city has money to make what many of your constituents.
Mr. Mosier, can you please wait? Well, we can't hear you in here. One moment.
Maybe speak closer to the microphone.
Can come up closer. Let's test.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Oh, much
Yes,
better.
go
Thank
ahead.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, my name is Jim Mosier. We have some feedback here. As I began saying, I am pleased to see the motion that was made because I am sad to observe that this city has an embarrassing history of using taxpayer money to make what many of our constituents see as rather pointless political statements. The council's strange action to say it would refuse to accept gas tax money, even if voters enacted such a measure, comes to mind. In weighing whether today's action would be a similar waste of resources, I very much hope you will allow us to hear the remainder of your discussion, not just the city attorney's. Because it looks like you would be committing to a very long, uncertain, but certainly expensive legal slog, given the judge's action yesterday. Many have written in assuring you that the governor's order is clearly unconstitutional overreach. Much as I may agree that the orders have gone beyond what seems necessary, as the judge's response indicates, no legal argument is a slam dunk. To illustrate, I came here today at possible risk of my health and others, expecting the sound quality here to be worse than over the phone, but because it was the only way I knew I would have a chance to speak to this council, that on Thursday night, like today, after posting on the agenda a 3-minute limit, unanimously agreed not to change that, first to 2 minutes, and then to refuse anybody to speak after 30 minutes. An action that, like many others the council takes, could be said on multiple fronts to be as clearly arbitrary and unconstitutional as the state's health orders. Is the pot calling the kettle black? Beyond that, as many written commenters have said, whatever your feelings about the orders, I fail to see why you would go out of your way to damage relations with the government and a governor whose help and cooperation we're going to need on many other issues.
All right, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. All right, do we have anyone calling in? Okay, well, it sounds like we have someone.
Your name and begin speaking.
Yeah, my name is Allison Smith.
Go
All
ahead.
right, go ahead.
Yes, and I had a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, now am I live on the panel right now?
Yes, you are, and it's public comments, so you can ask a question, but we would keep going through public comments.
Okay, I'll keep it very brief. I want to thank you for taking the call. My question is regarding the memorandum that was written. It was a writ of mandamus yesterday that was filed with the Orange County Superior Courthouse. Specifically, I'm looking at page number 6, and my question is under your prayer for relief. It stated that the beaches, that this is an indefinitely closed. So my question is Newport under the impression that the governor's intention is to indefinitely close your beaches because of this COVID-19? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much. I'll respond to that at the end of the public comments. All right, next caller, please.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead. So if you could please mute what you're listening to us on and then speak, that'd be great.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Hi, if you can hear us, go ahead. All right, do we have any other speakers? No, okay. We'll close public comment. To answer the question of the caller, the answer is that the governor's directive sent to us closed the beaches effective May 1st, but had no end date. All right, Mr. Harp, closed session report, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Harp, closed session.
Thank you very much. The City Council will adjourn to closed session to meet with legal counsel to discuss item 6A on the agenda, conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation and the initiation of litigation against Gavin Newsom related to the order that was issued on April 30th, 2020, closing all beaches operated by local governments in Orange County beginning May 1st, 2020. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I tried to get your attention to say something first, or can I say something?
This is not the time for comment. All right,
Can I make,
you can make a motion,
I'd
but
like to make a motion.
go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that because we're talking about spending public resources on litigation, that this discussion be conducted in public rather than in a closed session.
That is not an appropriate motion, if I understand that correctly, Mr. Harp.
So it's not on the agenda for an open session item. It could be brought back at some other point to have a discussion in public, but it wouldn't be appropriate to do that today. It's for closed session only.
Understood. Thank you. We stand recessed. Yes.
So closed session report. A motion was made by Mayor O'Neill and Councilmember Dixon, seconded the motion to ratify the filing of an amicus brief in the litigation that was filed yesterday by Huntington Beach, Dana Point, the Balboa Bay Club, Pacific, City Investments, and Leo House LLC against Governor Newsom to get a temporary and permanent injunction barring the governor from closing city beaches throughout Orange County. And that was All council members voted in favor of that motion, except for Councilmember Herdman and Councilmember Brenner, who voted against it. And that's the closed session report.
All right, thank you. We'll go Mr. Muldoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those who are watching at home, you know we are facing unprecedented times. Do not be afraid, God is with us. This council had an open public hearing on the issue of whether or not to close our beaches. After much deliberation and debate, we directed staff to have a plan, including traffic, parking, volunteer social distancing. The governor did not like that plan. Orange County citizens have been singled out and punished for their exercise of free speech and assembly. In regard to his arbitrary and unconstitutional order, the governor said yesterday that he will observe what happens over the weekend before determining whether or not to return our inalienable rights. Governor, liberty does not take weekends off. Today, we are fighting for our right to free movement and to peaceably assemble. The right to reopen and restore lives is giving hope to the hopeless, those suffering with depression in a face of record suicides, and those struggling financially, desperate to return to work. The consent of the governed was given to mitigate the pandemic, but we do not consent to the use of a government mandate to keep us in our homes and from responsibly enjoying our God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So many of us look out into our ocean's horizon and think about our lives, future, and the heavens. That is something we should continue to do without government infringement. Thank you and God bless.
Ms. Brenner.
I think it's important to be heard. I think it's important to realize that when we speak off the cuff like this, that it's our opinions that we're sharing. These are not hard and fast laws and regulations. We're all sharing our understanding of how things are. And I just wanted to say that, in my opinion, the first responsibility of elected officials is to protect the health and safety of the citizens. And our second responsibility is to protect the property within our jurisdiction. And whether we agree or disagree with policy decisions made at a higher level, it's our responsibility to follow those directions and encourage our citizens to do so. Certainly within that code of conduct is our personal freedom as individuals to help citizens understand how to peacefully disagree without endangering the safety of themselves or other citizens or encouraging damage to property. We as elected officials in Orange County should support all orders to maintain social distance and remain close to home. And we should continue to endeavor to work with the higher levels of government to arrive at that goal of getting people back to work and back to our normal lives as quickly as possible. And in that normal lives, that includes recreating in a safe manner on our beaches. The governor's office has indicated that they are willing to work with us to get our beaches open, and I know that other cities in Orange County are actively working on their plans to get their beaches open. I hope that we can get our beaches open as quickly as other cities in Orange County are getting theirs open.
Mr. Avery.
I'd just like to say that as a body, as a council, I feel is working toward getting our beaches open as quickly as possible in the best way forward. And also at the same time, when that happens, to protect our residents. And so for me, it's just really good to be a part of a body that's working together to solve a really serious issue, which is opening the beaches and also working with businesses and representing businesses to get those open as appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I believe we are all, and we were last Tuesday, I know we were all agreed that while opening the beach with a sound and robust public safety plan, that we were prepared to continue to protect our citizens and our residents and to protect their health and safety in an aggressive, highly aggressive manner that would protect them and protect all residents and business owners. My concern, number one, is for the safety and health of our residents. Number two is for our business owners. I don't think the governor truly understood the effect of a close the beach order would have on our businesses, particularly those small business enterprises that are individually or family owned that thrive on human activity in the beach area of Newport Beach. I don't think he really understands the desperate financial, economic, emotional, mental situation of businesses all over the country, but especially with his closure, forced closure of our beaches, the ramifications it has on individual lives. I am confident the City of Newport Beach, through our public safety personnel, has the plan, the capability. We identified this. It's on the record for at last Tuesday's City Council meeting. We were prepared to aggressively protect our residents from the infusion of people who do not live in Newport Beach and wanted to enjoy a day at the beach. We can protect anyone who comes to our beaches. We're used to doing that, especially on the 4th of July, and the numbers that came last week were significantly less than our typical 4th of July numbers. I'm confident our public safety, our fire, police, and lifeguard organization will continue to protect our residents. I really implore the governor to get our businesses open. They should not be suffering because he punished the city of Newport Beach in a very political, nonsensical way. It just doesn't bear any semblance of rationality to do what he's doing to our businesses and also to the many people, the majority of people who have written to us, who depend on the beach for their open space, for their front yard. They need the beach to get out of their homes in a safe manner. So I implore the governor, he's done this to us and to our people, to our business owners. We must get this fixed immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll just leave it at this then. To our residents, these are your beaches, and we're going to be working very hard to get you back on them. We stand adjourned. Thank you.